This is the Bellwork for September 14th, 2017. It reads as follows. I learned this when I visited my uncle's farm. Pigs can get sunburned just like humans. This explains why pigs hang out in cool, soft mud whenever possible. Okay, so we have a couple corrections that need to be made. We need, first of all, have ownership. Okay, so we have this S and it needs an apostrophe because it shows ownership for farm. Whose farm? My uncle's farm. Okay, the next thing that you need to know is that you have a capital P right here. That capital P needs to remain because you're going to set this off with a colon. Okay, I will explain the colon rule here in just a few moments. The third correction that you're going to have is explains. Explains is misspelled. It's EXPLAINES. Yes, that is correct. Okay. And then the fourth rule, I believe. Hold on just a second. Yes, is a comma usage in separating out cool mud, soft mud. Not cool, soft. That doesn't work. It's going to be cool mud, soft mud. Whenever it works like that, you have to have that comma, okay? Whenever you have two modifiers, two adjectives describing what kind of mud, you need to have that comma, okay? If cool affected soft, then you wouldn't have the comma, but it doesn't. It affects mud. It's all about the relationship of words, guys, okay? All right, so I believe that is going to be all as far as the correction that needs to be made. Let's talk about a few rules, all right? So we have the colon rule. Why a colon? Okay, well, colons are used for a couple of things. A colon is a punctuation with two dots on top of each other. That's what it looks like. It's not one that we're really comfortable with as saying or using, so let me just explain a couple things. Colons do two things. They set off a list within a sentence. Okay, that list can be anything as far as like ideas and thoughts or just even a list of groceries or items. It doesn't really matter, okay? But if it's a list and it has commas, you can set it off with a colon, all right? A second thing that it does is it introduces a word, a phrase, comma, or a clause. A synonym for clause is a sentence. Okay, but in English lingo, we like to use clause. All right, so this includes a quote, okay? It includes an idea. A word for added emphasis, okay? Those kinds of things as far as what it introduces. So in this case, it was anything that built momentum. What did you learn? I learned that. Okay, I learned this. Whatever, I think it's this. This is the word. So let's take a look back at our sentence. I learned this when I visited my uncle's farm. This then builds momentum. Now we want to know, what did you learn? Okay, we learned that pigs can get sunburned just like humans, and that's why we need to have that colon, and I hope that makes sense to you, okay? The next thing you need to know about colon usage is you need to have a complete sentence before it appears in the sentence. So the best way to say this, most important rule, a colon must follow or come after a complete sentence. Okay? Yeah, so that's about it for the colon rules as far as this one is concerned. And I was just trying to think if I had anything else to say. But at this point in time, the complete sentence, it must follow that complete sentence before you can put it in there. And every complete sentence has to have a subject and a verb. I hope that makes sense to you. Anyway, so now next I need to go ahead and show you the diagramming for this, okay? I'm going to go ahead and erase the strokes on here, or erase the information on here for you, so that way I can go ahead and show you how to diagram this, okay? So bear with me. If you still need this, you can go ahead and pause it until you get all of your notes down. But for right now, I'm going to move on and erase the strokes. And then I'm going to show you basically from this point back. This is going to be your complete sentence, and this is only what we're working with. I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. We're going to go ahead and plug these pieces into a diagram, okay? Who or what are we talking about in the sentence? We're talking about I. What did I do? Learned. What did I learn? This. This is your direct object, okay? It's a demonstrative pronoun acting as a direct object or a noun, so it can become the direct object, okay? So I learned this. This last little part is called a subordinate clause. And remember, a clause is a sentence. And if you think about subordinate, you think about something that is dependent on something else. This is a subordinate clause. Okay? This depends, these words depend on the main sentence. Okay? It depends, it's dependent on it in order to stand by itself. It cannot stand by itself without that main sentence. So we're just going to focus on this one really quick, these three words. Remember yesterday I told you guys that you have to have, when you're drawing a diagram, you have your sentence line. I compared it to the outskirts of a puzzle, mainly the corners. The straight line across is your sentence line. Then you have your subject predicate line. Your subject for this sentence is going to be I. And what did I do? I learned. I learned what? Well, we have a direct object. It is not going to dissect the sentence line because everything after learned is going to be your predicate. Okay? I learned what? This. So now, to recap, you have your subject, then you have your predicate. Okay? Subject, predicate. You're going to draw a line between your subject and your predicate. Your subject is your noun and everything to do with what the sentence is about. The predicate begins with the verb, and it has everything to do with what comes after the verb, okay? I'm not going to go any further than this. I just wanted you to see the baseline sentence, what it looks like, maybe get some information to you. I hope this made sense. It does in my head, and I will be seeing you soon. Thanks.